New Zealand will ban the sale of tobacco to its next generation in a bid to eventually phase out smoking. Now, everyone might say, wow, yeah, at last, we've got a responsible government that's actually looking after us. They're making the right choices here. Let's just look at this, a little bit better. The Prime Minister of New Zealand, she was worth what, 800,000 last year or 10 years ago, and she's now worth a whopping 25 million. Where did all that come from? She's forcing people to, well, near forcing people to take vaccination. And she's saying that she won't be happy until everybody does what she says everybody has to do, because she's the big mother, the big boss. She's some sort of obsessed mother figure, some obsessed, psychologically harmed Gaia figure that feels that she has to take care over the entire population because the population can't think for themselves. And let's face it, guys, let's face it, taking cigarettes into your lungs with all of those chemicals is bad. But I restate, with all of those chemicals, tobacco is not what you think it is. If you come from a shamanic or a plant point of view. Now, the crackdown has been met with mixed reaction. So we can't trust any of the main fake media. But this is what they said. Because right now there's a lot of young kids walking around with smokes in their mouths. Public are asking how they're getting these smokes. Why are the public asking, how they get these smokes? Were the public never young themselves? When I was young, I smoked. How did I get that? I got them off older people. And you're telling me that no one in New Zealand has ever managed in the last 200 years or 50 years or 70 years to get smokes off the older people, to get them off their parents, to get an older person to go and buy it from them, to get it off the older boys in the school. We all know where people get these smokes from. They get the smokes from other people. And we all know why people smoke, because it's an adult thing, because you're not allowed to do it. It goes on to say, however, others have warned that the move may create a black market for tobacco. Of course it does. The moment you ban something, everybody wants it, because when you take it, you're going against the system. And New Zealand is so effing woke system that all the people that are cool and that don't agree with the system are going to start smoking. So you'll be able to find out the anarchists by finding out those that smoke. Because that's what kids do. Kids go against the system and against the status quo because they want to rebel. So you've got to give them something to rebel against. But if you're going to ban stuff, then they're going to do it. There's going to be a crime wave. Gangs and criminals will fill the gap. Well, what's the point? What's the point banning it if it's not going to go away? So what they're saying, we're going to ban this, but we know it's not going to stop. But because the people know that it's bad, then they'll support us. So the people will support us banning stuff, but it won't stop. So what's actually happening is the government's asking permission from the people to ban things. Tobacco isn't bad. They're banning tobacco. It says we're banning tobacco and tobacco things. Doctors and other health experts in the country have welcomed the world-leading reforms which will reduce access to tobacco and restrict nicotine levels in cigarettes. Access to tobacco. Tobacco is a very important plant. It's a plant used by shamans. It goes alongside ayahuasca. It goes alongside mushrooms. It goes alongside all of these things. Tobacco is probably one of the oldest plants. They say the oldest plants are sort of like ayahuasca, tobacco, chocolate, and I've forgotten the other one. So if you start banning plants, then that gives you access to ban other plants. So if you misuse tobacco, which people do by taking it into their lungs, you're not supposed to put it into your lungs. You're supposed to put it into your mouth. That is how you smoke properly. It's not putting it into your lungs. There are some people that put it into their lungs, but the shamans that put it into their lungs don't use chemically filled cigarettes. They use natural tobacco. And I haven't seen any shaman that's got cancer. The other thing about shamanism is that when you take a plant, you've got to respect the plant. And when you respect the plant, you've got to ask permission from the plant. So if you're going to commercialize a plant, the plant's not going to give its permission to you. And then people will receive damage from the plant. Anyway, this is a metaphysical thing. As part of the crackdown announced on Thursday, so today is the 15th of the 12th, 2021. So Thursday was about 6 days ago. The government also introduced major tobacco controls, including significantly restricting where cigarettes can be sold to remove them from supermarkets and corner stores. The number of shops authorized to sell cigarettes will be drastically reduced to under 500 from 8,000 from now. What they're saying They want to control what shops sell and what shops don't sell. If you want to stop people from smoking stuff, then you have to educate them. Look at cocaine, look at heroin, look at all these very strong drugs. They haven't stopped. New Zealand's got heroin, New Zealand's got cocaine, New Zealand's got speed, New Zealand's got amphetamine, and they're banned. If you want drugs, you're always going to be able to get them. This isn't about banning stuff. This is about the public giving the government authority to ban stuff on their behalf. But already the government is doing things on behalf of the people that the people don't want. I'm not going to say what that is, but it starts with a big V. Going on to another report here. It says down here, smoking kills about 5,000 people a year in New Zealand, making it one of the country's top causes of preventable deaths. 4 or 5 smokers started before the age of 18, the government said. So 5,000 people per year die. Okay, so if 5,000 people per year die, then you phase it out by 2025. The tough steps necessary to achieve its goal of less than 5% of the population smoking daily by 2025. So that's 4 years ago or 3 years ago. But it goes on here that they want all of this to stop in 2027, which is about six years away. People under the age of 14 until 2027. Okay, so this is fantastic. 5,000 people a year die, and they're going to phase it out in 5 years. But then if you look at the C cases here, right? How many deaths? 47 a year. So with 47 deaths a year, they close the entire country down. They take away your jobs. They take away your rights. They force you. They rape you with injections. They pump liquids that you don't want into you, giving you abortions, not pregnancies. They change your DNA, and they do all of this stuff because 47 people a year die. But if 5,000 people a year die, they don't do anything for another 5 years, 3 years, or something like that. So this video is really about, the shamanism and ayahuasca and plant medicines. Plants are very important against the system. The system has its way, which is based on technology, and plants aren't part of that technology because we're going towards the synthetic man, and the synthetic man is about transhumanism. The only way to counter transhumanism, as far as I'm concerned at this moment, is to try to go along the plant path. Now, you all might think, well, the plant path is very boring and it's just about flowers and we eat them. No. If you take hallucinogenics like ayahuasca with tobacco, you can go into another world where there's lots of technology, millions and millions and millions of years more advanced than the technology that we have at the moment. And technology in the upper dimensions has much more capacity than the technology on this dimension, because of the difference in vibrations. If the vibration is higher, then you have a much more expansive capacity. Once you become more dense in the lower dimensions, like the earth dimension, which we're in at the moment, then you have limitations. So if you wish to have an expansive consciousness and understand more about machinery and more technology, then you need to start looking at plants. And you can do that through tobacco and through ayahuasca. And what they're going to start doing, I'll tell you this now, because the shamans have told me, there's going to be new witch trials. They're going to start killing and attacking the shamans because they're the people that have the real information. The real information came from the truth schools. It came from the mystery schools, going back to Egypt or Babylon or India, wherever it is that you want. And today, we don't have any of that because the Christians wiped it all out. If you don't support Christianity, then you're a witch. Yet, if you're a pagan and you're a witch, then that's someone that's closer to consciousness in the plant world. Because if you wish to get to consciousness, you can, if you wish, do it through plants. It's just one of the ways to do it. And for that reason, there are prophecies that are saying, look, there's going to be massive attacks against the people that take plant medicine because they're the people that have the truth. And that truth goes against the system. And the system is based on mineral technology. So what they're actually doing is they're taking away plants. They're taking away plants and they're taking away access to plants that can give a different view of reality, which is more hyperbolical, but it gives a truth. Now, one of the other things that I've heard is that tobacco is a very good defense to have in your system. If you drink tobacco, it works as a purgative. Tobacco also works alongside mambe. Mambe is basically a coca plant, which is what you make cocaine from. And you mix that with another leaf an alkaloid, an alkaloid then comes when it goes into your mouth. When it's mixed with the other plant and the coca in your saliva, you get a very healing sensation over your body, and you can meditate. And this has been used for thousands of years. It's not addictive, it's natural, and it's used for thousands of years with the indigenous, like the, I forget their names now, the Kogi and the mammals in the north of Colombia. And so if you start to suppress plants, because this is about the suppression of plants, and it's about the infantileness or infantilization of humans. You shouldn't infantilize humans with laws telling them what to do. You educate humans so that they come to their own decisions. If you have something like smoking, which kills all these people and destroys people, why don't you educate them on it? You don't need to ban them. We're not children, and we're being treated like children. And these plants are used by other people with the mambe, with the coca. They take tobacco alongside it. The tobacco acts as a masculine energy, and the mambe acts as a feminine energy, so it balances it out. And I also have the suspicion that having tobacco in your system is actually going against the agenda. There's something about tobacco that stops or inhibits or annoys the agenda. If you've got tobacco in your system, it seems that it repels negative energy. And so I think what they want is they don't want tobacco in people's systems. Now, smoking doesn't do any good for your lungs, but it still puts nicotine and tobacco into your system, which may be able to repel some of these things that they want to put into your system. It may work against certain big Vs or certain 5Gs, the 5GV or something like that. So thanks very much, guys. Have a nice day.